The S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100. That's what we're discussing here on the day. We had Amazon earnings, and I will say Amazon's probably some of the worst earnings that I've seen as of recently, and they're they're down $10. I think they should probably be down 10%. Giving you an overall viewpoint here, they beat on earnings, but they revised their guidance for quarter number one and they did 187 billion this past quarter number four. Expectations for quarter number one are around 155 billion. So that's really, not good. About a 20% little refix there. So not good, right? We gotta be transparent. We gotta be honest here. Okay. But the good news, the Nasdaq continues to churn that butter, dare I say. And you can continue to see the Nasdaq is getting more and more love. Again, higher highs, higher lows continue to form, and this is really what you want to see. And the biggest thing you want to see across the board, right, is going to be how semiconductors end this week. Because in my opinion, semiconductors have taken the biggest hit out of everything here, right, on the past 2 weeks, give or take. And the thing that you're really looking for, number one, let me pull this up really quick, but number one, you're looking at the 200 SMA on NVIDIA getting back above, which is like 123 on the daily, right? Your 200 daily moving average, and then also getting back above 128, which is where you've basically been getting rejected, since the 27th, give or take, about past week, right? Is it 2 weeks? I don't know, 2 weeks, right? Where we've been sitting at. So that's where we're at. The interesting part of this that I've been saying to why this is so significant is NVIDIA has not hit the 200 SMA or been at the 200 SMA since January 11th, January 2023. So the fact that you were able to break below it and sellers did not capitalize and pull you down was interesting. The other viewpoint here too, which is what really got us in this pickle, was DeepSeek, right? And the idea was DeepSeek was proved that, NVIDIA might be overvalued or companies are spending too much for their AI development, right? Because apparently DeepSeek did it with no money. Well, that's kind of not, I don't want to say true, but the market doesn't care because Google came out, Microsoft, Amazon, all of them came out and said, guess what? We're going to spend a few $100 billion on AI, and it's going to be legitness, and we're going to pay NVIDIA to do it. So that's why you still see names like NVIDIA bouncing, Broadcom bouncing, etc., like from those dips and what you're looking at right now. So that's the biggest and best way I can explain this. The other part of this is I'm going to get into SPY and Qs, don't worry. But I also want to talk about what's happening with yields, okay? I try to go over this like at least once a week. Yields continue to drop. Like the bond market is still like pulling back. So despite what we saw, and this was one of the big things I was trying to hammer home, the bond market has been the big question mark, right? Because the bond market kind of prices in the fears of the Fed and what's happening there. So this is the 10-year and then your 30-year, right, which are still dropping. Now, they're still elevated. They're still high. That's an issue. I agree. That is an issue, okay? However, they're dropping pretty drastically, and the dollar as well is still holding up pretty well. But bonds are coming back for what it's worth. So when I look at this, it's, again, some of the fear has kind of subsided. Now, the next part of this, too, is going to be, again, how does the Fed interpret data that's came out, what Trump is doing with tariffs, and I guarantee the next Fed meeting is going to be wild. There's going to be tons of questions, and I think Powell has to start answering some of these questions at the next meeting because Trump has already started implementing the threats and all that stuff as well. So we'll see. So that's going to be very important to see what happens there. But as of right now, you're holding up. You look very good. So number one, we'll look at SPY. And what I mentioned yesterday was really simple. And then we're going to start on higher time frames, work our way down. Number one, you probably are going to get that retest of highs, 609, 610 on SPY. It's probably going to happen. You look at the daily chart here, you're bull flagging on higher time frames. You look very good. A fantastic recovery here so far. Maybe we see a rejection. Maybe sellers step in. Maybe this is all a facade and big, a bear bull trap, right? But as of right now, it seems like bulls are taking the most out of this opportunity. And the thing that I would highlight here is that you see these big gap downs on SPY, like you can see them, right? Clearly, right? They're right in front of you. Or we just go straight down. But then there's no follow through. There's no crisis. There's no extreme selling or fear. You just buy right back up. That's not what you want to see, right? Sellers show up for a day and a half and then they retreat back into their holes and they realize that they lost all their money. So that's really what's going on here. QQQ holding up as well, trying to break back into 533. Pretty impressive, okay? The one area that's a little bit concerning here is the Dow still, which is like coming back into that 45,100, 45,111, which you can see is that little SR flip, right? Giving you a really good visual. This chart's very clean as well. If you just look at how this is acting, so really quick, let's just get rid of everything so you can see. I'll go back and fix that later. But basically what's happening is this. You can just, it's very, very simple to see. You can see you kind of break out here previously into all-time highs. You come back, you sit, and then you break down, right? Well, you're just coming back into that level, right? That previous high, right? That's where you're finding resistance. If you go look at ES, a very similar chart here as well. I posted this on Twitter, so if you're following on Twitter, you saw this. Again, it's on my page. The link is down below, so check it out if you want, right? So really where you've been, what's happening there. So yes, maybe let off the gas as far as don't full send YOLO until we can break above some of these levels, and I'll keep you updated on Twitter throughout the day, but you still look really good. Point of the story right now, okay? Point of the story right now. A few things though I will say before we go too far. Number one, guys, like I said, I recommend following on Twitter so you get all the updates, what we're looking at as far as stocks, our charts, everything like that, updates throughout the day. It's all there for you as well. The other part too is if you are interested in joining Discord, the link is down below. Again, if you want to see what we're doing throughout the day, we also have the more affordable starter plan as well. You won't get direct like entries, what we're looking at, but you'll get some of the charts that we're looking at throughout the day, the chat room, and then obviously some of the educational content as well. You can go get more updates there. You'll get the watch list, so you can tap into that also. So Discord, again, it's been probably one of our better months. Hey, we're back, right? So again, let's end the video strong. Let's end the video going back over a few things, equities we like, what we're looking for going into tomorrow and to close the week. Now, in my personal opinion, the biggest thing I'm looking for to close this week out is going to be NVIDIA. Can NVIDIA mount above 128 and hold? That is, if that happens, I'd be a happy man. If that's the only thing that happened this week is we hold above 128, we get some continuation. That's all we really want to see here. That happens. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm happy. Now, okay, so that's all I'm going to say on video. I'm below 128. I'm not a fan. Like, whatever. See you next week, right? Okay. Next up. Few other names. I mentioned Netflix. We traded this in all-time highs. Congratulations if you caught that. You're still in all-time highs. I don't know what to tell you. You're in price discovery, killing it. Meta, we also talked about this yesterday, being one of the best trade opportunities. Traded it today in Discord as well. And again, like a lot of the trades I mentioned here, I just go more in depth in Discord and then, break things down. And obviously there's another setup playing out there. That's what we look for. But this morning before market even opened, guys, right? Go back right here. I have to go back further, right? Where's it at? Oh my gosh. Yesterday, 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. Netflix. Sorry, I'm like losing my, I've been talking about it for like 2-3 days, but before market opens, watching Meta at open above 707 to 708, looking for 711, 713.5, 716, then all-time high price discovery. Obviously, that's what happened on the day. So again, when names get into all-time highs, it gets harder to trade because you don't really have clear levels, buyers versus sellers, what we look for traditionally. Like you don't get those opportunities because you've already beat all that. All the information's already taken out of the picture. So again, what I'd be looking for now is getting back up in that range. But again, I think right now, the thing I'll harp on the most is NVIDIA. Like I think it's the biggest opportunity across the board. And I think this is like the only thing I need to really talk about. I think I've talked a lot about obviously CrowdStrike, some of these other names, but NVIDIA is my guy here. Are my eggs all in one basket? Dare I say? No. Would I love this to go up and hold 128? Yes. I'm telling you, you have a lot of upside. I'd be targeting, if you can hold 128, I'd be targeting into around 133, 134, and then around 137.5, 137.8-ish. As well. But I mean, you have a gap fill all the way back into 142. I just think it's one of the biggest monster plays out there right now. You just need to see a hold of 128, man. I'm a very big bull here right now. And if you get the hold, you look good. It's the best trade out there. It's going to be the best trade for the next few days. That's my opinion. Okay, so I don't want to go over too many names, but that's what you need to get out of this video today. Okay, so if you follow on Twitter, I'll keep you updated, everything like that. But again, I love it. I love it. I love it. Microsoft making a bit of a comeback here. You had some intraday trades. Jake called this out in Discord. I'm not getting crazy on Microsoft yet. A good hold of like 414 here too. It's okay. It's okay. Your 200 SMAs at 426, 425. Buyers start stepping back into the market and holding us up. Microsoft probably gets some love back into 424, 425. Okay. I'd be watching it. More of a sympathy play there. Google. It's amazing how we go over the same levels and people still ask the same questions. It's actually wild. Google, I talked about the buying zone, 188 to 186, 185. Below 185, steer clear for a while. You have to stop out. You know, you're holding your zone. This is what you want to see. I have not touched this. I have not changed this. I think Google's awesome in this range. It's a little bit of a struggle at 191.5. Back above 194, I think you're just cooking, smooth selling back into 200. I think Google's earnings were also pretty solid for what the reaction you got is crazy. So again, I like Google a lot as long as you stay above 186, 185. Buying opportunity there as well. But again, this is what I'm looking at in the market, guys. There's no reason to overcomplicate it or, you know, try to confuse you or say this is what has to play out. But, you know, this is what I'm looking at. If you have questions, comment down below. I'll have stuff posted on Twitter. I'm happy. I'm happy. Like I say, guys, fear and greed index is probably one of the best indicators out there because it tells you about all the freaking dummies. It tells you about all the dummies, what the dummies are doing, what they're thinking. And again, it gives you that opportunity to really start putting money in your pocket and take it out of, you know, the dummies' pockets, right? You know, sometimes, you know, it's a binary game. If I win, someone loses, right? That's the point of this. So have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love it. I'm a big fan. I am a big